And I'm recording this so that we can put it up on our website for those who couldn't make it today. And I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to share this screen out so hopefully you can see these slides. There we go. Is that showing up for everybody?
Yep.
Yep, it looks good.
Great. Okay. So I've noticed that many businesses are using social media, and many businesses either are not or could maybe take another look, a fresh look, to see if they could improve what they're doing. So I put some stuff together to kind of address that. And for today's presentation, I'm going to talk about 3 different aspects of social media. And they would be Facebook, Google, and your own website. And I think it's important to touch all 3 of these, to have some presence on all 3 of these. And I'll explain why as we go along. Oh, let's see, we've got some more participants. Oh, there's Heather. Welcome, Heather. Awesome. So now a lot of businesses have a presence on maybe 1 or 2 of these. And there are other ways to use social media too, including Twitter and Instagram, and those are fine, but I think I only have time to cover these today, and we can get more in depth on the other ones at a later time if we want. But I think for business purposes and to help market your business, I'm not sure that Twitter and Instagram are quite as powerful as these 3. That's just my opinion, but that's what I decided to concentrate on today. So I'm going to start with Facebook. And, you know, as everybody knows, Facebook has many ways to reach lots of potential customers. And if you're not on Facebook, it's really easy to do. This week I would create a page. It costs nothing to start, and it'll help build an interactive following with potential customers that you may not currently have. So, if it's done right, the beauty of Facebook is your followers will help spread the word and bring you additional followers that you never would have reached beforehand. So hopefully I'll be able to explain a little bit as we go through this. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is to kind of build a brand. And that might seem obvious to a lot of people, but I think every business has a brand. Now, it just depends on whether you've created it or whether your customers have created it. And what I mean by that is, I think if you are really conscious about building a brand that, something that represents what your business is, then that will transcend down to all of your customers, and they will look forward to seeing symbols of that, whether it be a logo, whether it be the colors that you use. Maybe you identify certain colors with your business. It also goes beyond that. A brand is also your reputation. And we've all known businesses that maybe didn't do such a good job marketing and not such a good job in taking care of their customers. And in those cases, the customers define your brand, and they start spreading your brand around by renaming your business with maybe an unflattering name or something like that. So you definitely don't want that to happen, obviously. And the more that you take control of your brand, the better it's going to be for all of your for your customers and your followers on Facebook. So if I'm going to bring up a few brands here that are members of ours that I think are outstanding examples of building a simple logo to help help people sort of identify with a brand of that business. And there's Anna. She's with Applied Learning Science, so I think that's a beautiful brand, beautiful logo. And I know that Anna has consciously kind of worked to build around that and in very substantive ways. So if you have a logo, great, use that and kind of build around it. If you don't, I would really recommend reaching out. If you're not great with graphics, maybe hire Felty Graphics or a graphics art student from Potomac State, because a logo is huge in the beginning. You need to help people kind of identify. And in Facebook, when they see your logo, they'll click right on that link and go right into it. So if you don't currently use Facebook, get some help setting up your page from someone who uses it a lot in their own business. You're always welcome to reach out to me. I would be happy to help any way I can, or point you in the right direction if I don't have the right answer for you. And then once you're up on Facebook, the key with Facebook is you've got to interact with your users all the time. As I put in the slideshow, it's sort of like watering plants. If you neglect your users, they're gonna wither and die away, and they're gonna go elsewhere. So we have a few members who the last time they posted was back in the winter time. And businesses who post every few weeks or every few months are posting to no one. Your customers have already left. So it's really important to keep that going. And as a business owner, you may not have time to do that, but figure out a way that you can get someone to update and interact with your customers on a regular basis. It's really important, especially in the Facebook culture. And I know that's different than pre-Facebook days, but it's a huge segment of the market now. And people have gotten used to that, and they want sort of instant answers to questions, or if there's a complaint, you need to answer those right away. And you need to keep the conversation moving every day. So one thing that has been established in Facebook is that direct promotional efforts usually fail. And an example of that is, I'm going to use Queens Point Coffee as an example throughout this slideshow, but this can apply to any business. But if I'm Queens Point Coffee and I put an ad out there that says, hey, come on down to Queens Point for 10% off today and tomorrow, by itself, you may get a few people to respond to that, but not a whole lot. However, if alternatively, if you post a video of someone wearing a Queens Point t-shirt, standing beside a sign that offers the 10% off, but instead of talking about that, they talk about something else. Maybe they show concern for customers by saying, I hope everybody is staying safe out there. Or if they tell a funny joke or a quirky thought of the day, that grabs people's attention. And anybody who follows Queens Point Coffee knows that they are masters at this. They post every day. They have a different saying or quote on their board. It's like a chalkboard, and they physically have it down at their shop, but they post a picture of it every day. And I know people get in the habit of just clicking on Queens Point just to see what today's slogan is. That's building a brand and is building loyalty with your customers, because they're actually wanting to go to your site just to see what you have posted today. And it can also be kind of quirky, off the wall stuff. And they've done plenty of that. There's one I loved, and maybe I could probably pull it up. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah. So I've switched over to Facebook. Is that showing up for everybody?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. So here's like their signboard, and a couple days ago they said for me the urge to sing "The Lion Sleeps Tonight" is always just a whim away instead of a weem away. So really cute stuff, and it just, you know, it takes 5 seconds to read, but gosh, they brought people onto their site. And one of the things I'd like to pull up really fast, if I can, yeah, here it is. There's a video they posted last year, and I love this. Let me see if I can get this to work. So Brian just went and filmed. This is like early in the morning, and the crickets are out, and he says his quote under it is, "Man, I love this place. The early morning sounds and that first cup of too good to be true coffee. Have a great day, everyone." There we go. Okay, so let me see if I can bring back my original slideshow here. Here we go. So posting little things like that, and they might seem quirky, but it really brings people in. It's just a different way to market and communicate. So I would recommend paying attention to sites that currently do this really well and see what you can do. Another option is to show your stockroom after a wildly successful sale with a shot of you with an exhausted smile, simply saying, "Our customers are the best." Something like that. Or a video of a young customer with your t-shirt bouncing on a trampoline, doing a backflip, then saying, "I flipping love Queens Point coffee." Or sometimes focus on something other than your business. Wish the high school team good luck at states, or if a town is going through a tough time, then post something like Piedmont Strong, or I'm not picking on Piedmont, just whatever the case might be, because goodwill definitely matters. And that definitely brings customer loyalty. And you might not get 1,000 comments on it, but believe me, people notice that stuff, and it just builds up in their mind, and they see that, and it builds loyalty to your brand. Then something that's really important is to address complaints immediately by replying to the person directly and trying to make it right. That also builds customer loyalty, because not only will that customer see that you are trying, but so will every single one of your Facebook customers. They're silent. They might not chime in on this thing between you and the original customer, but they're watching how you sort of react and how you respond to the customer. And if you do everything in your power to make it right, then you're building loyalty, whether you know it or not. So that's something huge. And interact with your customers. This is really good too. You can create contests. Excuse me. You can ask for submissions featuring photos of customers with your products, which is great free advertising. And you can reply to customer questions. And again, all of your interactions will be seen by lots and lots of other people. So have fun, and your customers will reciprocate. Another thing is to, I shouldn't have to say this, but this is really, really important. I see a lot of Facebook sites where their contact information isn't filled out all the way. Make sure you've got a review tab and monitor it. If you have complaints or customer questions and you never respond to it, then people are going to drift away. If you're a restaurant, post a menu. There's actually a couple restaurants out there that are on Facebook and have no menu. That's I don't know. I think it would be really helpful for your customers to know what you've got. Post specials. Fred at the Candlewick is great at this, and he has used Facebook during the coronavirus, the never-ending plague of 2020. He's reinvented himself, and he's using Facebook to do all kinds of different things, and make sure that he's communicating with people, and he's done a really good job with that. So so that's a powerful tool. And I've had conversations with him, and he's acknowledged, yeah, he's got customers because of Facebook that he never had before. So Facebook is a very powerful thing. And people are going to want to be able to contact you, list your current hours, especially during the pandemic. If you leave the original hours posted, but you've changed them because of certain circumstances, then people need to know. So don't forget to kind of monitor your own site. Another thing that works is to create a group and then post things that don't directly sell your products, but maybe how you can use your products. Or for example, if you're a restaurant, share recipes or post a video of safe food handling tips that everybody can use in their kitchen. If you own a hardware store, share how to use different tools, or a video of you building a project, something that everybody can do at home. And that builds all kinds of brand loyalty. People love that kind of stuff. So it takes a little bit of time, but the more you help your users, the more loyalty you build. And then, get viewers to like your page. Better yet, get viewers to follow your page. So every time you post, it'll come up in their news stream. And then occasionally, if you want to reach more users, you can boost your ads in Facebook. So up until now, everything I've talked about is totally free. If you want to go beyond and try and reach more people, you can place an ad. So you would post something or an event, for example, and then it'll give you an option to boost it by paying whatever you want. You can as little as $5 or $10, all the way up to thousands. It just depends on the size you want to reach. I've posted boosted ads for the Chamber. I've boosted them for Ashby's Fort. I know that Ashley has boosted them for the tourism, and it helps. And when you boost your ads, you can target exactly who you want to reach. You can target demographics. You can target geographical locations. Like I want every location in Mineral County, or hey, I want to reach outside the county and see what happens. So you can target, Romney and Moorfield and Petersburg and Cumberland and see what happens. And as you're doing your campaign, you'll see analytics that tell you exactly who you're reaching, how many people responded, how many saw it, how many clicked on your post, and then you'll be able to tell also by your sales how well you're doing. So really important, and it's pretty cheap. Frankly, it's a lot cheaper than advertising in traditional media like newspapers or radio. But so I think, it's worth exploring once in a while. It can really help. Now, I want to switch over to the website. First, let me stop right there. Are there any questions so far on anything that I've talked about regarding Facebook?
I'll say one thing. For my business, I have a Facebook presence, but we're very limited with what we can say. We're very locked down with what we can say because nothing can be considered as a recommendation. But I have noticed that if I just do the normal socialware allowable items that they let me put on the site, don't get nearly as much as if, like you said there, like if I put a picture where I had a golf tournament, I had a tee sign, and I shared that, I'll probably get 5 to 10 times the looks, the likes, the comments on that than I would something that's actually industry approved. So making it very personable for folks, I think, is a lot easier, and you'll get more interaction. So that branding is great.
Yeah, it's really crucial. And initially, I think a lot of businesses tried to just sort of continue in the model of newspaper advertising, and they would post sales and promotions and things like that. And I'm not discouraging that, but the truth be told is people react on Facebook much more to interacting. They want an interactive model. And when you post quirky videos and photos and things that are on the periphery of your business, or just you caring as a person about the community, you're going to get an awful lot more response. So, and that's just not me talking. It's just kind of been proven, and there's books written about it. But it is sort of the model. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, Rod. That helps reinforce, you know, that idea. So okay, let me go back. So web pages, as we all know, they're a lot more static than social media. They, you know, you kind of post things up there, and some of it has to be static. Things like your, you know, your location, your phone number, your address, your business hours, things like that. Those are always going to be there, and they're not going to change. I think it's good to find some part of your site that you can change periodically, just like in Facebook, where people can come and see something different. If they see the same exact website for year after year after year, they don't come back. It's sort of, and that's a result of things like Facebook. People are used to seeing change now, and lots of it. So if you can find a place to post some pictures, for example, and then just keep those pictures rotating. It could be of products, it could be of people enjoying, you know, whatever it is in your business. It could be anything, but it's good to kind of have a few things that change from time to time. Then, here we go. Make sure you do post all of your contact information. And an example of this is, you know, we usually put our street address on there, but if people want to mail you something, maybe it's a form, maybe it's a question, it could be anything. Maybe it's a thank you letter, and you have your street address, but you're located in Fort Ashby, it's never going to get to you, because Fort Ashby, they use P.O. boxes. That's the only way they can deliver mail in Fort Ashby. And that's true in other locations too. So if that's true for your business, make sure you have both, so people know physically where, you know, how to get to your location, and also how to contact you by mail. Make sure you have all the other things too, email, and even a fax number if you still continue to use a fax machine. And then share information you think your customers need to know about your business. If you sell products or services or tickets, you can easily create an online store and link it straight to your bank account, and you can sell those things online. And it's really pretty easy now. There's all kinds of tools available. You can integrate Square and other payment options directly into your website. And I talked about adding photos of your business. And again, you can help tell a story, and that helps build your brand. So some people talk about how your business got started, or it could be anything. It could be just a funny story of like when you first opened up and like the ceiling collapsed, or whatever. It could be anything at all. But tell a story, and people relate to that. Make sure that you optimize your website with something called SEO, which is search engine optimization, so that your website actually shows up on Google. And most people know this now, but it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do. It's much easier to create your site than it is if you're not familiar with this stuff. But it's so important. So if you're not sure how to do it, and most of these websites, I recommend using Wix or Weebly, or something that you can control yourself. A lot of businesses will farm it out to someone who builds a site for them and charges them an awful lot of money. And then frankly, a lot of times they're not really responsive. So if you need to post something quickly to your website, if you go through another person, you're at their mercy for how quickly it'll get up online. And I've, without mentioning names, I've seen this happen right here in Mineral County, where people wait for months to get something updated on their website. And months is a lifetime online. So I think if you have control, and if you're too busy to do it yourself, you can always hire, it could be a student at Potomac State, or it could be almost anybody that's web savvy. And you don't have to be, if you use these web building sites, it's so easy. You just click and drag. You don't have to know code, or you don't have to know HTML or any of that stuff. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So, but make sure that your website has good SEO, and that way you'll show up on that first page in Google. And these days, no one clicks on the second page of Google results. It's just, if you're not on the first page, you're done. So it's really important. So, and I just talked about Wix and Weebly. So you don't have to be a geek to use it. And I talked about this too. So let me skip through here. Now, if you do already have a website, take a fresh look at it and ask yourself if it needs a facelift. And don't look at it, sometimes we're prideful of what we've created already. Put yourself in your customer's shoes and say, that's been up there for a while. Maybe I can change a little or tweak it, or maybe leave the information, but just put a nice fresh picture next to it, or anything just to kind of keep it fresh. I think that's really important. And then, this is hugely important. Make sure you optimize your site for mobile devices. So everybody uses these now. And if your website isn't set up to show up well on a phone, then you're going to lose customers. And not all web pages are generally, landscape oriented, and your phone is portrait oriented. So Weebly and Wix will automatically format your site into a mobile design that will work with phones. But you might need to tweak it a little bit because it's not always dead accurate. So I've found that I need to go and tweak my site occasionally when I make updates. But again, it's not hard to do, just a little time consuming. If you're too busy, hire a kid from Potomac State and they'll get some good experience, and you'll get a good website. So let me go back to my slideshow here. Now, Google, I only have a few things here. I could go on for hours on Google, but I won't. But at a bare minimum, make sure your business is listed on Google Maps so people can find you. And I've checked, and there are a number of businesses throughout the county that are not on Google. So it's not terribly hard to do, and I would be glad to walk anybody through it at any point in time, and maybe help get your business set up. But you basically enter your address, and while you're there, you can add things that you have on your website, such as your operating hours and your phone number. If you're a restaurant, you can post a menu, things like that. So it's pretty handy to have. And that's how everybody starts finding stuff, is through Google. So that's important. And then you can also set up reviews so people can rate their experiences with you. And that's important. And I think a lot of people are afraid of that, because if you get a bad review, you don't want that hanging out there. And I certainly get that. But if a review is bad and you don't address it, it's going to start defining your business. So it's important to go respond to these. And when you get a review in Google, it notifies you so you can respond to it. It just emails you, and you can take care of it. And if you do that successfully, then you won't have a problem because everybody's going to get a bad review. We all are familiar with customers who just, sometimes they're just not happy with anything, and that happens. So, but if you respond to it well, then it's not a big deal. People understand that, and if you get better reviews, then that old one will just disappear. So you'll be good to go. So those are the things that I kind of wanted to touch on today. And I know that was kind of short and sweet, but still a lot of things to think about and to consider. But I think if anything, I just wanted to make sure that the concept of building your brand and sort of using social media and your website and Google to help facilitate that are a really important concept and will help you get a lot more traffic. But I wanted to open it up. Does anybody have any questions or anything that maybe I can help with? Or
how about LinkedIn? Does anybody use LinkedIn?
So LinkedIn is great from business to business. It's not, to me, it's not really something that is designed to go straight to customers, which is why I didn't really address it today. It's a great resource if you're trying to network with other people in your industry. That's perfect. That's what it was designed for. Does anybody else have any experience with that though? Maybe something else?
So we use LinkedIn exclusively. I don't think Applied has a Facebook page. We'll do it for projects. But we use LinkedIn. It's very user-friendly. All of the strategies that Randy mentioned for how to build a Facebook following really apply to LinkedIn as well. Where it really is about your brand and then, building as many followers as possible, which is about, going and liking other folks' stuff. So. And
Anna, I've never considered that because I guess the majority of our members are kind of retail oriented, but in a service industry like yours, it makes sense probably to go with LinkedIn. So, and Rod, what about you? Do you use LinkedIn a lot more than Facebook, or?
I get more interaction, I think, from LinkedIn. Because like you say, it is business. It's like Facebook for business, if you look at it that way. You really do get more sales leads for if you're looking at for larger type of accounts. In other words, even when I worked in the cell phone industry, I relied on LinkedIn to kind of cover more territory. I think Facebook is more of a retail-oriented type thing, because where my wife works, her boss primarily does a lot of her outreach, especially during the pandemic, for sales through that by shipping things and things of that nature. I do like the part you gave on Google. I just had a call the other day, I think it was yesterday, I had a voicemail and an email for a client who was wanting to talk about some CARES Act things with their 401 retirement plan to help out with some issues. And I asked him when I called in, I'm like, who referred you? How did you get my name? He said, I found you on Google. And he was from Frostburg. So there was like 3 other Edward Jones advisors.
Right.
His office of Frostburg to mine. But I guess they just don't look at their Google or their Facebook thing as much as what I do. And he probably did a little research and decided to call me. So I think it's a combination of everything. Google, Facebook, LinkedIn. You need a little bit of a presence on all of them, because if you're serving different types of clients and customers, you want to make sure that you're
Right.
hitting where they're at. And it is better than, I was thinking when you was talking about the newspaper ads, again, nothing against them, but
Right.
I know I come in the morning and I spend about 10 minutes reading the newspaper cover to cover here in Cumberland. But during the day, I'm always popping on my phone, or I'm checking my LinkedIn or on the other screen of my computer. So you do spend more time, especially in the evenings. People are doing stuff through there. So I think Facebook and those types do have a little more bang for the buck.
Yeah, the country, the world is changing. We're evolving past the old traditional mainstream media, and I think there's still a place for mainstream media. I don't want to give that impression, but it's so much easier to target specific groups using tools and in these social media apps. So Facebook for sure. LinkedIn, maybe we should have a feature on that in a future lunch and learn, because I hadn't really considered that, and I think that's probably wrong thinking on my part, but I think that might be a good thing to approach.
Yeah, in my previous experience, especially in banking, it was great to make business connections with people, find out where they were financially, and then, you know, let them know that they had options and things like that. But, you know, especially through the chamber and stuff like that, we were able to meet people and then connect with them through LinkedIn.
Great.
That's basically what we used as bankers to as far as social media, just because we couldn't have individual Facebooks or anything like that. So it did really help us as well. Kevin tries to put a lot of economic development growth on LinkedIn as well, to share with other parts of the state, stuff like that. So
Sure. Makes sense. Awesome. Any others? Okay, well, kind of short and sweet today, but I appreciate you checking in, and we'll do more of these. I think LinkedIn is definitely on the books for the future, and we'll explore other options like that too. But want to reach out to, I hope we get some members that look at this online. I'll post this evening, and maybe get some ideas, because some of them, we've got some restaurants and smaller businesses that aren't taking full advantage of what they could. So it'd be great to see them get more business that way. So, well, thank you all for attending. Truly appreciate it. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Randy.
thank you.
Thanks.